I'm here today with Noah Messarge. How are you today?
I'm doing well, Taylor. How are you doing?
Great. I have a couple questions for you.
Okay.
All right. The first one is, what got you into radio?
Oh my God, that's a long story.
Okay.
Well, I was always a big fan of radio when I was a little lad. Of the age, I don't know, 4, 5, 6.
Okay.
I would listen to this Christian radio program called Unshackled. That was like a radio drama, and also Adventures in Odyssey. Shout out to Mr. Eugene, so I always grew up with radio. It was always like an asset of my life.
Yeah.
And I always enjoyed the format. And then later on, I discovered Loveline, which is more my style. It's a kind of a
comedy, right?
It's a comedy radio show. There's a doctor, Dr. Drew Paninsky, a certified doctor, and a comedian as well, Adam Carolla, and they take callers and they, kind of help people out who need help. So I was always a big fan of that as well. So, it seems like a natural progression for me to get into like actual radio, local radio, which is important. Absolutely.
And speaking of radio, what is your favorite part about working here at WFLO?
Well, Taylor, there's too many to mention. So I won't mention any.
We want a full list.
Full list. I don't know. I enjoy the people, There's you get to meet some really interesting people in the industry. Also, working with people like Chris Wood, a veteran. It's always pleasant to, work with her and just
she's
kind
awesome.
of learn from her knowledge. She's so knowledgeable. Yeah. Do I have a least favorite part? That's a great question, John Staten. No, I'm kidding. He's great. No, it's just a very fun job all around, and it's one thing I really do appreciate about radio is it's not the same thing every day. It technically is,
yes,
because you still have a morning show to do and stuff, but like there's always different challenges,
there's different callers, different situations, different situations.
Guests. Constantly maneuvering. You're like a chameleon trying to blend in.
Well, and you do so much here that obviously every day is not going to be the same for you because you'll be running a show and then editing something or kind of running around. So obviously you're at work a lot. So when you're at home, you're relaxing. What is your favorite comfort food? What makes you feel better after a long day?
I like eggs. Eggs is a breakfast food.
That's a very interesting
normally,
comfort food.
But like there's this dish that's really good. It's you may have heard of it. It's called eggs in purgatory, and what that is, it's
I've never heard of that.
It's crushed tomatoes.
Okay.
And you stir that, you kind of let it simmer on a pan for 15, 20 minutes, and then you break some eggs into that. Add seasoning, a little bit of cumin. A little bit of cumin goes a long way. Let's be honest here. Yeah. So, when I say, I mean like a spring. It's just a dash. Do you realize how small of a portion of cumin I'm talking about? Like, I don't think. I mean, like literally,
like a sprinkle.
Magnifying glass, Taylor. Magnifying glass. I take out two
particles.
Cumin particles. Thank you.
It's really like garlic or anything.
Garlic, yeah. Okay. Sometimes if I'm feeling fancy, I get the fresh garlic and throw that in there. If I'm feeling like a white trash homeboy, I get the
garlic powder.
Garlic.
Or do you use garlic?
Dried garlic in the little, which is actually not that white trash. Now I think about it, garlic powder is white trash.
Garlic powder is a little.
It's not good. It's not good. People need to understand.
It's good when you don't have any garlic and you don't have time to go to the store.
If that's the only garlic that you have, then it's good.
What are your feelings on jarred garlic?
That's a great question. That's a really
that wasn't on our list, but I gotta ask.
It really depends on the dish.
Okay.
That's all I'm gonna say. It really, really depends.
Okay.
But I'm most drawn to fresh garlic from the clove. I like cutting it. I like breaking it. I like.
You're the only one because I hate cutting garlic.
I like the smell of it. I like after I cut it, I get to smell my fingers, and I'm like, that garlic smell kind of permeates throughout the house. That's
my least beautiful. Favorite.
It's your least favorite.
Is like smelling the garlic. Not a fan. That's an interesting quality that you have.
Well, that's the difference between you and me.
That's true.
Yep.
All right, and I have another WFLO question for you now. Yeah. What is your favorite WFLO story? Do you have any moments that stand out to you?
Well, there was a moment when I first started working here.
Okay.
I got here in the morning, and John was panicking a little bit. And I asked him, I was like, what's wrong? And he informed me that everything in the studio was being streamed on the stream. Like every
movement, every noise.
And it wasn't the broadcast. Like the broadcast was fine, but like the actual online stream was like picking up the room noise. And so, things were said that morning that are best forgotten.
Absolutely, that happens.
A couple of
comments.
Yeah. Things were said. A lot of things were said that morning.
Absolutely.
We finally got it fixed, but
okay, that's good. I'm very shocked you didn't have people from Farmville calling in and saying, "Oh my God, I can't believe that you guys said this. I was streaming and I heard that."
Yeah.
But well, speaking of Farmville, I do want to ask, what is your favorite thing to do in Farmville?
I like to walk, I like to look around and see the sights. And, once you walk a couple of times in Farmville, you kind of get the idea. It's kind of the same.
Do you walk trails? Do you just walk around town? What do you...
I like to walk in the back of people's yards. I'm kidding about that.
I like to stare through people's windows.
I like to stare at people's yards. No, I like to walk in the avenues. It's a nice, you get to see just a little bit of a slice of nature. I don't know, and people are mowing their lawns. It's a very nice atmosphere.
It's very chill.
Very chill. Yeah. So.
Okay.
It's my favorite thing to do in Farmville.
Okay, and what is one thing that you can't live without?
That's actually an easy question, Taylor. Coffee. Okay. I can't live without coffee, and I can't live. Okay. Yeah, coffee is like my life.
That's a very millennial answer.
What are you trying to say, Taylor?
Millennial. Nothing wrong with the millennials. Just saying. Millennial answer.
Gen Z. What would Gen Z answer? TikTok.
I was literally, that's immediately what came to my mind was like TikTok or your iPhone or
MySpace.
That would be millennial. So going back to radio and music, what is your favorite album / song currently? Either one or both, if you have two.
Favorite album has to be Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band because that album single-handedly affected the rest of my life in the most positive way.
Yeah.
The Beatles, very influential band. And when I listened to that album when I was 7 years old, I was like, holy God.
The void opened.
The void opened. Things started
you
falling
saw
out.
things.
I felt the music. I smelled sounds and I tasted colors. I was 7 and I literally when I listened to that album, I was just enthralled as one can be. Genuinely amazing. Yeah. But
do you have a favorite song from the album if you want to pick that, or a favorite song currently that you're really
favorite song
on
currently?
Repeat?
I'm gonna go with a kind of a modern song. "Take My Hand" by Matt Berry. That's kind of kicking around in my music library a little bit, and so
absolutely
that's what I would go with.
Okay. Yeah. And if WFLO had an official snack or drink,
Cheerios.
What do you think it would be? Cheerios are very famous in this studio.
There's a box of Cheerios right there. I'm stepping on Cheerios.
There's cinnamon Cheerios.
It would be Cheerios, and the drink would be Pepsi, Diet Pepsi.
Why Pepsi? I see a lot of Coke products in here.
Oh, Coke. Sometimes
John's drinking. I think he's drinking a Diet Cherry
soda.
Coke.
Just go with Diet Soda.
Any Diet Soda.
Any Diet Soda.
Okay.
What I eat here is kind of varied. Sometimes I like to get takeout. Sometimes I pack my own lunch.
Okay. What do you pack for lunch?
Rice.
Just rice.
Rice and beans. Maybe some chicken.
Okay.
Avocado.
That's kind of balanced, yeah.
Lemon. Sage.
Okay.
Dill.
Running down the spice list for me here.
Oh, I'm just telling you what I pack.
Oh, okay. Do you pack all the seasonings individually?
Individually in little bags, yes.
Okay.
Parsley.
Wonderful. Okay. And what is your favorite movie to watch while you're eating your Cheerios?
Taylor, another stellar question. My favorite movie of all time. It's a great question. I love Philip Seymour Hoffman as an actor, and he plays in some of my favorite movies of all time. But my absolute favorite has to be The Deer Hunter with Robert De Niro, Christopher Walken, stellar cast, amazing. Just this story is so beautiful. And also, like, I'm not a war. There's those people that like love war movies and they're like,
I
Save a Private Ryan. I'm not that guy. I don't watch any of that ever.
Yeah,
I think it's boring.
Yeah, it's just there's too much going on, and I feel like I can't get a hold of anything going on in those type of movies.
It's always that one type of demographic too to watch like really like war movies. The Benghazi movie. What was that?
Oh, I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah, with Jim from The Office. I think he was in it.
Oh my gosh, yes. No, I don't remember.
I don't watch any of those. I say screw them. Who needs them? Again, my personal opinions.
Well, I feel like you can watch the news and see all of that
you
any
can see
time
it
of
already.
day now.
Yeah,
so what's
exactly.
the
and
point
it's
in watching a movie about it happening when you just have to turn on the news? Hey, hot take here.
That's perfect. I mean, that's exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly true.
Yep.
But this is a Vietnam film, and it's about the Vietnam War, but it's really about the effect of the war afterwards, and that's why I like it.
Which I feel like that isn't talked about enough. It's always we learn about the wars, but we don't learn about
the effect
or the aftermath of what
people's
it did to
lives.
countries and people's lives.
So
I'm gonna have to watch that. I have not.
Highly recommend.
Haven't watched that one. Okay, and going back to radio now.
Oh boy.
What is the most surprising thing that you've learned working in radio? You got a whole list?
Well, I'm trying to think of what I can say.
We can always skip questions if you don't want to answer
skip this question. This is too much.
Okay, cool. All right, so skip that one fully. What's your movie? Okay. Now on to what I think is a really fun question. Do you have any hidden talents that you could share with us today?
Wow. When I was a youngster and I was like 7, 8, I used to be a card shark. I used to hustle people and make money with cards. So I guess a hidden talent would be card tricks.
Oh, okay.
I could do a couple of those.
Did you have like a magician era?
Oh, 100%, yeah.
You look like you'd have a magician era in your life.
And it was like when I was younger, I used to go to my church and charge people money for card tricks.
That's kind of crazy at church to be doing that.
Yeah, I feel like Jesus would have not been happy with that.
Probably not.
But it's a part of my life, and it's part
of your story.
It's a part I celebrate. I was.
It got you to where you are today.
Exactly. Everything gets you one step closer to where you are today, and I think that part of me was the hustler part. Trying to make money.
Absolutely.
Kind of taking things into my own hands, and I was a hustler. I made a couple $100 probably,
which is like. As a child, I mean, even now, that sounds great to me.
I mean, for my entire time doing it, which was many years. But I started off charging people $0.25 for a card trick. I ended up doing $1 per trick.
Oh, okay. So you were really hustling,
dozens of tricks a day.
Okay.
I mean, we're talking about maybe I should be reporting this to the IRS kind of situation.
Get taxed on it.
Well, I was young, so I don't.
Well, my next question kind of ties into what you're saying now, surprisingly. What would you be doing if you weren't in radio? Would you be still hustling the card tricks?
I like the idea of being like a full-time wedding photographer. I think that's fun.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just kind of, I'm a very kind of like, I get into niches and I like to really explore the niche. So
yeah, this next question I know you feel extremely strong about because this has been asked to you many of times. What is your least favorite genre of
music? Burn every single album in every library. I don't care.
What album would you like to start the fire?
Morgan Wallen.
Okay.
Go from there. I think
absolutely, and work your way up.
Post Malone. I mean, he's borderline country at this point.
What's that one guy? Post Malone.
What is that one guy who's like a Jelly Roll? Get rid of him. Down the stairs he goes. You can burn all his albums, CDs, DVDs, cassettes. I want to fill up a landfill, Taylor, full of just every sort of country song ever released.
Yeah.
And light it on fire. That's my ultimate goal.
Starting with Morgan Wallen.
Starting with him.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for answering my questions today. This has helped all of us get to know you a little bit better. So we will catch you in the next interview.